So what's the first thing that comes to your mind or jumps out at you if you see this pre-solicitation notice here? I mean, right from the jump, you can see in the very first sentence, it says the Department of Veteran Affairs Network Contracting Office '08 intends to award a sole source firm fixed price contract to TNARA Operations Group. I mean, most people, regardless of how many certifications, how qualified you are, they think game over. I mean, they're going to award this to a company. There's nothing we can do about it. But that's where you're actually wrong. I mean, no different than any other solicitation, whether it's an RFP, RFQ, even these pre solicitations, RFIs, and sources sought notices. We always need to read the entirety of the document. So if we come here towards the bottom, there's some other language that is provided. We'll skip past some of that fluff that outlines kind of the maximum that can be awarded for such a set aside. But we can still see here that they ask those that are interested to submit their capability statement. So if you didn't read that far, or like I say, even if you did read that far in your head, you're like, what's the point? We see sole source right there clearly at the top, first line. I mean, well, to be quite honest, our organization did submit our capability statement with a write up here. Lo and behold, just a few days later, this is what came out. This again is just one of the documents that came. We'll scroll up just to see same solicitation number, of course, the same agency, Department of Veteran Affairs, but aha, you may have not ever seen this before. It says here clearly, this notice is issued to modify the previously announced sole source procurement action for highly trained and experienced network engineer technician 3, intended for award to TNARA Operations Group, who we just read about. The sole source action is hereby canceled. Canceled. After receipt of submitted capability statements from capable SDVOSBs, the sole source action is hereby canceled. The agency has determined that the requirement can be satisfied through competitive solicitation. The solicitation will be posted on or about June 9th, and it will be 100% set aside for SDVOSB. So there we go. I mean, of course, number one thing that we need to remember is to read the entire document. I mean, regardless. And like we said, there were those instructions in the bottom for interested parties or those that think, they have something to offer to this agency, their capability statement. And lo and behold, we see here that this is not going to be a sole source award. It's going to be competitive. Still, of course, Department of Veteran Affairs, as they gratefully are known to do to support the service disabled veterans, this is going to be the certification that you need to basically compete for that. But number two also is just the power of having a capability statement that's tailored somewhat and that demonstrates. I mean, if every capability statement that they got was for logistics or transportation or medical, I mean, or even if it was IT, but folks were talking about pen testing and things like that, this may have stayed as a sole source, but with enough that they saw that, were qualified or could be competitive. I mean, most likely that's what basically turned the tables there in the favor of this. So that's kind of number two, is having a capability statement, even if you are, in that case or that scenario I just gave, your specialty or your niche is cybersecurity services or pen testing or assessments. If you still are in the IT realm, it's not a static document, or it shouldn't be. You should have a capability statement ready for the opportunity at hand, ready to deliver and to demonstrate the proficiencies and that you provide value for that unique opportunity for the agency, of course. And third, really just knowing what vehicles or what methods the agencies that you're dealing with actually prefer or actually utilize. I mean, if you look at this video right here, then you would have known that the Department of Veteran Affairs definitely gives a high nod and they first look most of the time to service disabled veterans. And again, I mean, I would have read that first line and thought, oh, yeah, this most likely is a set aside for an SDVOSB, but there's nothing that I can do. But like we said, we've seen this before, not too often, but again, it just comes down to reading the entire solicitation there. And so it's really just another example of why it's key, why it's a prime strategy, and really why it's one of the best efforts to not just discount these pre-solicitation sources sought RFI opportunities. This again may just sound like market research or hey, I'm just going to wait for it to pick up. But again, the smart ones out there know that this definitely needs to be a part of your strategy. So again, hope you learned something today. Didn't want to take up too much time. And so let me know what you think down in the chat. Have you ever seen something like this before? And if so, what agency was it? Was it the Department of Veteran Affairs by chance? I'm definitely curious to see. But thank each and every one of you out there again for rocking in here with Gov Ignite today. Definitely looking forward to seeing you on the next video. But until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Peace.